Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. Welcome back. And this week, I am going to be talking about recycling and saving the environment. Everyone's favorite topic, I know, so exciting. Listen, this has been something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time now. I actually had this idea and started doing some research and writing about it in my trusty little journal here that I use for vlog ideas. Probably as soon as I started this vlog, in January. So this has been a long time coming, really overdue, and I'm sure it will be the first of many environmental recycling videos to come. With that being said, I started this vlog to use it as a platform for things that I felt were important, that I felt needed to be talked about, that needed a voice. And this is one of them. So if you know me, and if you don't know me, now you will know, I am very environmentally conscious. I am very aware of, unfortunately, what is going on with our planet. This is not political. This is not religious. This is not anything that you think you want to throw in on environmental issues. Get rid of it right now, because this is purely from a factual, common sense standpoint. As a human being living on this planet, we are facing one of the largest ecological, environmental, climatic crises, I think is how you say it, crises, right now in our planet, on our planet. And it is very much human made. It's very much human caused. I full-heartedly believe that. This is not to push any sort of agenda. Like I said, this is not in any sense political. I'm not even a huge science nerd. I'm not yeah, scientists are always right about everything. And this is literally just news report after news report and research after research. They're finding plastic bags in the belly of unborn whales that are washing up on the beach. Our coral reefs are dying. Our sea levels are rising. Our ozone layer has been severely impacted and destroyed by CO2 emissions. All these things are just you can't make this stuff up. This is not fake. This is real, factual things that are happening. And if you decide that you want to turn a blind eye to it, then I can't really help you. But I think that's one of the biggest problems with us as humans is we just want to remove ourselves from the situation. It's with wars or famines, hunger, the migration crisis from wars over in the Middle East and stuff. Everything to do with uncomfortable topics that could even be somewhat political, or somewhat, have an agenda. Us as humans, we're if I don't see it, then I can't be bothered by it. Out of sight, out of mind. That's literally how all of us live our lives, and it's sad. But the thing that I want everyone watching this to realize is the longer that you turn a blind eye to something like I'm talking about environmental wise, it will catch up with all of us and it will impact all of us. So you can keep pushing it over to China, which we're going to get into that conversation, but it's eventually going to come back around and affect us all on a personal level as well. So everything I just said in mind, this video very much, I have some facts. I reference a documentary I watched, and I will link it below. I encourage all of you to watch it to become aware. But this is something that I am very, very passionate about. I tell people all the time, they're what do you want to do in life? Whatever. If I could literally be on the back of a boat picking up trash out of the ocean, I would be happy and feel like I'm doing something. Honest to God, that's my answer. Because that is how much this bothers me. And if you're not bothered by this, then I don't know. Maybe you don't care about wildlife as much as I do. I don't know. But I feel like everyone should be bothered by this. And like I said, if you don't care about the polar bears, you don't care about the whales, this is all going to come full circle and it will impact you. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe 20 years from now. So with that in mind, let's get into the actual reason and facts and figures of this vlog. So, like I said, I watched this documentary and it was based in the UK. It was filmed probably in the years of like 2016, 2017. A lot of the facts and figures come from the 2017 era. So it is about 2 years old now, but I don't think by any means that means it's outdated information or it's inaccurate information. It does come from the UK, so no, this is not from the United States of America in particular, but the UK, honestly, Europe has been better at a lot of these things, you know, in reducing waste and trying to recycle more probably than the US has been. So with the couple of percentages and facts that I'm going to give you that I got from this documentary, just think that the US is probably worse than what I'm about to say. So honestly, guys, I went through this whole video and I took like notes on the whole thing. I had like times marked down, like crazy stuff. I decided I'm not gonna like bore you with all that. If you want to watch it, you can go watch it for yourself. But there are a few things I want to touch upon. One of them being, and yes, I have my notebook with me because I can't remember all these numbers. So pretty much it starts off by saying that 78 million tons of packaging is produced every year in the UK. So we're talking about like packaging for like granola bars, candy wrappers, oatmeals, anything like packaging wise, like you name it. 78 million tons of it is produced. Out of that 78 million tons, only 14% of it is collected for recycling. 14% is even just collected for recycling, okay? So then from that 14%, only 2% of that waste, of that packaging, gets recycled and made into new packaging. 2%. 2% of 78 million tons. Right there, that should make your stomach turn because that's sick. So pretty much what I know all of you are thinking, like, why now, Nicole? Like, you didn't do this on Earth Day. Like, you didn't talk about this, you know, topic of the environment and stuff on Earth Day or anything. What brought this on now? My roommate sent me and another friend of mine sent me on Facebook the link Fox 8. So all of you Clevelanders, this is like directly impacting us. Fox 8 just had their I-team go out and they found that 90% of the recyclables in the city of Cleveland that are collected are thrown into the landfill. So that begs the question of all of us saying, why even bother recycling? Why, Nicole, why am I even gonna recycle my water bottles? And you know what? You guys bring up a good point because I've been feeling like that too. I grew up recycling. My mom taught me recycling. It was like a thing. Like when we would run errands, we would always drop stuff off at the recycling center. It just was like part of my childhood, part of me growing up, instilled in me that we recycle. Especially things that are very easily recyclable, like water bottles, cans, foil, you know, glass, things like that. So, I understand the frustration because I'm feeling it too. Like, why even bother trying to take the time out to separate my recyclables from my trash if it's just all gonna end up going in the landfill anyway? I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to help the environment. And it just seems like my efforts are not good enough. Here's the biggest thing though. So they said that what is happening is the recycling is getting contaminated. Okay, so pretty much what they're saying is like either people aren't recycling properly and or they're throwing things in the recycling that are not recyclable. I've been guilty of this. I know, like, I can remember times I have accidentally like put something in our recycling garbage can that we have that should have gone in the normal trash. I'm guilty of this. So what the city is saying is that if there's too much contamination, trash in the recycling, then they have no other choice than to dump it in the landfill. Another problem that a lot of cities are facing is that recycling is technically more expensive. It creates more jobs than landfill waste, but it is more expensive, of course, to recycle. And so here's what's been happening is that I don't know how much of this any of you know. I don't even know a ton. I don't really follow politics and I don't know like all the ins and outs politically on what happened, but pretty much what I got from the documentary, and then I did some further research. This article came from the Huffington Post. I will also link this article below if you want to read it for yourself. But pretty much what was happening was, in the UK, these businesses would get some sort of tax feedback, some kickback. Not feedback, kickback. They would get some sort of tax benefit or tax cut if they were able to recycle X amount of waste produced. Like, the government made this program, which in all reality was like a good idea. The UK was like, okay, we're going to reward these corporations, these organizations for recycling. Well, here's the loophole and here's the problem. What the UK started doing, because recycling costs so much to actually break stuff down and recycle it into something new, they started to ship this recycling, waste overseas to places like China. And in doing so, the government still counted it as recycling. So the organizations were still getting their kickback, and they were getting rid of the waste. We were shipping it to China, out of sight, out of mind. Okay? And don't be like, oh, the UK, those British people suck. Like, no, we were doing that too. America was doing that too. All of this recycling waste, we were hardly doing any of it actually in-house here on our soil. We were shipping it overseas to places like China. And honestly, a lot of it's just sitting there. So in this documentary, you'll see they have it in bales, and because it's contaminated, because this recycling is contaminated, because people don't know how to recycle properly, they just have to leave it sit there in these bales. And the one guy who owns one of the lots where these bales are sitting is like, I can't use this stuff because it's contaminated. So China got fed up with all of us, over here on the other side of the world saying oh, we're going to ship you our trash. They're like, no, we're not taking it. We're closing our docks. We're closing our borders. We're not taking your waste. I don't freaking blame them. I would have said that a long time ago. So China's like, no, we're not taking it. Well, all of a sudden, Europe and, us, we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with all this recycling? We're not recycling it, so we can't, intake this amount. So this is what the Huffington Post said. All right. So first of all, they said that America had 66 million tons. I think this is just specifically plastic. I don't think this is recyclables, but just plastic. And if you know me, you know I hate plastic. Plastic is one of the worst things. Styrofoam and plastic to me are the devil. I hate them with such a passion. Anyway, though, America, 66 million tons of plastic. 1/3 of that was exported to places like China. All right. So pretty much what was happening is we were stockpiling and storing, and this is a quote from the Huffington Post article, all of this recycled stuff. So we had piles of cardboard, and this is one statistic, 1,000 tons of mixed paper, 6,000 tons of material, and all of it was dumped in a landfill. 900 tons from just Oregon, specifically the state of Oregon, was dumped in a landfill. Many cities have canceled their recycling programs. We are bad at recycling, throwing things that aren't recyclable or that are contaminated products into the bin. This is a quote directly from this article. Recycling creates up to seven times the jobs per ton than landfilling. But municipal recycling is important, and the government needs to recognize its importance, especially in view of China's shutting their borders. So pretty much what this is saying is when China shut its borders, a lot of these recycling facilities, plants, whatever, they were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all this stuff? So as they're trying to figure it out, they're just stockpiling it in those compressed things that they make. They're just stockpiling it, and they're like, we don't know what to do with this. So they ended up throwing thousands upon thousands of tons of recyclable waste into the landfills because they didn't have the means or the money or the resources to actually process it as, in actually recycling it. So if you're anything like me, this is really beyond frustrating. I hate reading stuff like this. The thing I just shared from Fox 8 here in Cleveland, 90% of what I am putting in my recyclable bin living here in the city is getting thrown in the landfill. I'm trying to do the right thing and it's not working. So pretty much this begs the question of where do we go from here? First of all, we all need to be very well educated on what is and isn't recyclable. As much as I hate styrofoam, I hate takeout containers. That's the worst. Styrofoam takeout containers, I hate those with a passion. I think they should be legally banned. That not being the point right now, I know that those are not recyclable, so I have no choice but to throw them in my garbage. It doesn't matter how much it pains me. I have to just throw them away and throw them in the landfill because I don't know what else to do with them because there's no other way to dispose of them. And see, so here was the problem. Everything in my parents' generation was put in glass. Everything was made in glass. Glass can easily be melted down, crushed, made into something new. Glass is very renewable, in my opinion. Out of, things that we put our products in, I like glass the most. But then that got too expensive, or the companies were well, this would just be easier, so they're talking about plastics. So then all of a sudden, when we got into this factory industrial boom, everyone's oh, well, we can totally just make this stuff. It's cheaper for the big companies, and everyone's oh, let's put it all in plastic. Let's put it all in styrofoam. Let's just put it in there. We don't need glass or metal. That stuff's too expensive, or whatever the case was. But nobody stopped to think about how we were going to dispose of it. Once you use it, how is it getting, gotten rid of? That's not very good English, but you know what I mean. How is it being disposed of? No one thought or thinks about that. And that's what I hate so much. I do not like going to places and being out and about and using one-use plastics. I hate that because it's so wasteful and you're just contributing to the problem. So like I said, this begs the question, where the frick do we go from here? Because everything in our world nowadays is pretty much in plastic. Plastic to me is one of the worst, culprits of this crisis is plastic. Everything's in plastic. We live in a disposable world where we're oh, just throw it away. Even electronics, it makes me sick to think of where my past 2 phones have gone. Where are those phones now? Probably somewhere overseas in a landfill of electronics, giving off I don't even know. That's a whole nother documentary and vlog. But anyway, I hate it. I hate that we live in such a disposable world where everyone's oh, I'll use it one time and throw it away. And you're not thinking about the consequence of what that action means. So here's what we all have to do. First of all, like I said, we need to get educated on what is actually recyclable. One of the things my mom told me, and this was from the recycling plant that we used to go to. Funny story, that one actually got shut down not too long after I came to Cleveland, I think. And, but we learned from them that they will not recycle your plastic water bottles if you don't take that little safety seal thing off the neck of the bottle, where you drink out of. You have to take that seal off. And what's annoying about that is that piece of plastic so little, it probably just gets discarded in the landfill anyway and not recycled. But for some reason, they won't recycle the bottles if that little thing is still on it. Also, when I recycled with my mom, we took the labels off of everything. If you had a juice bottle and there was a label on it, you took a knife and you cut that sucker off, you rinse the bottle out and you put it in the bin. Everything that she taught me was very clean, very labels off, little plastic pieces off, safety seals off. We rinse it out, cans of tomato paste or sauce, you rinse that out and you put it in the bin. We made it very clean and very there's no reason that this cannot be recycled. And that's like a very good thing to consciously be able to do. And I still try to do a lot of that now. I will admit I have gotten a little lazy because like the rules, like no one's telling me that the rules for Cleveland recycling are that strict. Like, do I have to take that bottle thing off? I don't know. Like, no one's telling me. So a lot of it's like education. I feel like there's a lot of like representation of like recycling. And I feel like if we had people who were actually like, hey, this is the city you live in, we're gonna pick up your recycling and this is what we want it to look like, then I would be like, let's do it, you know? So yeah, if recycling was easier, then like everyone would be able to do it and do it well. But I think what I'm trying to advocate for now more than like ever before is, yes, keep recycling. Recycling is good. Like recycling needs to be done. But the problem is we are seeing that our local governments, our state governments, our federal governments, our international governments are failing us when it comes to dealing with all of this waste that humans are producing and how they are actually getting rid of it. It's not working. Like whatever they're doing, it's not working. Our facilities, our resources are just not there to handle or recycle properly the amount of waste that we are all consuming and therefore producing. So now more than ever, I am advocating for reducing, like literally reducing your plastic, your like waste imprint. And this is not hard to do by like any means. I'm gonna show you guys just like 3 quick things that literally could save so much plastic, because here's the thing, the less you consume, the less that they have to produce. And this like, it's a full circle thing, which I'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about this. One of the easiest things you can do, please use a recyclable, like reusable cloth bag. I literally got this for free at an Indians game like a year ago. Okay, guys, like please use these when you are going shopping. Actually, Cleveland just instated something where like stores here in the city are not going to be allowed to sell, like, or not sell, but to use plastic bags for your groceries. Like you're either gonna have to pay for a paper one or you're gonna have to bring these. And listen, I've seen things on the internet where people are like, well, cloth isn't good either because like the amount of like pollution it takes to make like fabric, like a cloth bag. Okay, but I can use this like hundreds and hundreds of times. Like unless something crazy happens to this bag, I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. The problem with the plastic bags is not only all the pollution and whatever it takes to make that plastic bag, but then once you're done with that plastic bag, what are you doing with it? And yes, they have those plastic bag recycling bins that are great. I love those. I use those. If I do have a plastic bag, I make sure I recycle it. However, as we've seen, recycling seems to be failing us. So I don't really have any faith that those plastic bags are actually getting melted down, recycled, and made into something new, whether it's a new plastic or another material. So please, please make sure these are not even that much money. Like every freaking store is selling these now. Just get them for free, get them from somewhere, and please use them. Stop using freaking plastic bags. If you're at a store too, like I go to CVS sometimes and I'll get like 1 or 2 things, and I usually have this bag on me because like I'm going to Heinen's next or something. I tell them, I was like, please don't give me a bag. I don't need a bag. Like stop using and wasting these plastic bags. Nothing makes me madder than seeing a plastic bag when I'm walking down the street or driving. It's just like in the road, like, oh my gosh, that just makes me so, it bothers me. It's like my biggest pet peeve. Okay, anyway, moving on from that. So please use a reusable bag instead of a freaking plastic shopping bag. Don't use those. Also, guys, a reusable water bottle for the earth's sake, literally. Please get a reusable water bottle. Like, I just make sure that this is always filled up. I have a Brita on my sink. I have pitchers that I fill with the Brita water in my refrigerator. I can fill this at any time because we live in America and it's wonderful and we have clean water. Thank you, Jesus. I have clean water to drink because I love my water. Please get a reusable water bottle. There's no flippin' reason why you need to constantly have a normal plastic water bottle. That is something that like Pepsi or someone like came up with to make money. They're like, let's sell water that's already available. It's already a resource that everyone needs and uses. Let's put it in a plastic bottle and let's sell it for ridiculous amounts of money. Genius. No, stop using that. Listen, the only time that you should be using a freaking like not reusable bottle is when you can't take this places. Like I went to the Indians game last night. I'm not allowed, I don't think, to take stuff in. Most places like that, you're not allowed to bring your own like drinks in or anything because they're worried like you have something weird in there. So like airports, like I totally understand that stuff. Like if you're like out somewhere that is like strict about you're not allowed to take your own waters or beverages, like I get that. Like yes, by all means, you need water, buy a bottle of water. Unfortunately, please put it in the recycling though, even though it probably doesn't get recycled. Let's just at least try, okay? But please, on the day-to-day, get a reusable one. There's no reason you can't carry this. Everyone has a bag, everyone has a purse. This lid completely like screws on. This is not going to leak. I put this in my purse like for iHeart events. Like I have pockets on the side of my book bag. Like all of us have something that we can put this in or freaking carry it. Look how convenient they make it. Look, there's a handle right here. You see this handle? Carry it. Please, by all means, use a reusable water bottle. You buy it once, and most of them, if you like get the right one, it's dishwasher safe. You don't even have to like clean it with that stupid like brush, like hand wash. Just throw it in your dishwasher every once in a while, and ta-da, you always have water with you. Another thing along the same lines, please, especially all of you coffee drinkers, get a reusable metal tumbler with a metal straw. Oh my gosh, guys, you're killing me. I had a marketing teacher. I hope he sees this. He was killing me. Every day I'd come to class and he would have a cold like tea from Starbucks in a plastic cup with a plastic straw. Stop freaking doing that. There's no reason you're coming from home that you cannot bring this with you. In a lot of places like Starbucks, they sell their own like reusable. I don't think theirs are metal though. I think theirs are plastic, but at least it's reusable. They like, sell those, and they actually give you, a girl told me, like some sort of like discount or something if you bring that reusable one in and have them fill it up with like whatever you're ordering. Just take your own thing in. Oh, please, guys, come on. This thing was like maybe $13 from Amazon. It's metal, it's cute. I've gotten a lot of compliments on this cup, and it's like washable. So I don't have to like sit there with like a little brush and like clean the straw out. I throw it in my dishwasher and it's done. Get a reusable tumbler. So yeah, guys, I don't have all the answers. I'm not like a scientist by any means. I don't have all the solutions of like what we're supposed to do because like recycling's not working. But like I said, my biggest thing that I'm advocating for right now is just to avoid using certain things. There are so many just small things that you can do day to day, and everyone's attitude is like, I'm one person, like what is me not using a plastic cup at Starbucks gonna do? Like it can do a lot. Like think about if every person that goes to Starbucks even twice a week would use a reusable tumbler like the one I just showed you guys. How much plastic, like we're not even talking about in the US, we're talking about like worldwide, that would like save, and like we would not have to be using and therefore throwing into probably our landfills. Like please don't think like that. Please don't think like I'm only one person, what can I do? You can do a lot, and you can also sleep then with a clean conscience that you are doing everything that you can do where you live and how you go about your day-to-day routine, and know that you're not contributing to this environmental crisis that we are already freaking in and we have to dig ourselves out of. I want to just finish this with saying also, the whole thing that I said earlier about it comes around to us, this is literally like a whole cycle. So what a lot of people don't realize is one of like the main ingredients in plastic is like this palm oil. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's this series that Netflix has called Our Planet. And I encourage everyone to watch those documentaries. First of all, they're cinematically like insane. I don't even understand how they filmed half of the shots that they got. It's crazy. But secondly, it's very eye-opening and educational. And there again, if you want to be like, oh, out of sight, out of mind, like I don't want to know all the problems in the world because then I'm gonna have to feel guilty and then I'm gonna have to deal with it. Open your freaking eyes, feel guilty, deal with it. We're all in this together. Like we're all freaking living on this planet. And I saw a shirt once that said like, there's no planet B. And like that's literally true. Like people are like, oh, like well, if we destroy this planet, we'll just go to Mars and destroy that planet. Great plan, guys. Awesome. Like no one's even freaking gone to Mars yet. Like this isn't happening tomorrow. And also, can we not destroy another planet in the solar system? We're gonna run out of planets, y'all. Listen. So don't have that mentality. Like watch these documentaries, watch this stuff and freaking like learn and be aware of like what you are contributing to as a human and how this is going to impact you. But anyway, bring this full circle. So like you keep using this plastic, they keep manufacturing this plastic and everything. Well, this oil is used in plastic and they are having to cut down the rainforest to plant these palm tree like oil groves. Like literally in this one documentary, they're saying how like all these hundreds of orangutans are dying like a day because they are losing their habitat, the rainforest habitat, because we lovely humans are coming in and planting like these specific palm trees that are not like, yes, they look like green and leafy, like they belong in the rainforest, but they're not really part of the natural habitat for the species who live there to use. So we're coming in, taking out the rainforest and planting these because we need that oil to keep making this freaking stuff in plastic. Like, it's literally just a habitual cycle. So you're like, well, I'm not contributing to, you know, the orangutan population decreasing. Yes, you freaking are, because you keep getting your Starbucks every freaking morning in a plastic to-go cup. Stop. Like, I know like this is probably one of the harshest videos I've done so far, and I'm being very direct. I can't stand it. If you're a person who like believes that this is somehow like fake or I'm like making this up or these people are making this up, like I can't, you're like beyond help. I don't know what to do with you. And I'm sorry if this is harsh, but I can't stand that we're ruining this planet. And also just like a little quick, something my mom said, like when I was way younger that has stuck with me for like a long time. And yes, real quick, this is about being a Christian. You call yourself a Christian, but you're not recycling and you're not trying to do what you can do to take care of the earth that you believe that like God, the God that you like worship and believe in and think is like your savior created. You ain't trying to take care of that. Listen, I'm just saying, just something to think about, okay? I'm just saying, like, he literally created us and he's like, steward what I have made. He's like, steward the animals, like name the animals, name the fish. And he was like, I made all this like for you. I put you here to enjoy it and rule over it. He didn't say to destroy it. He said to like oversee it. And we are not overseeing it well, okay? So that's just like my little bit for all the Christians out there who want to like tuck their heads, you know, this way and be like, oh, I don't see anything. What? I go to church every Sunday, but, you know, I'm littering every Tuesday. Well, great. That's awesome. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. This is probably one of the most soapboxy videos I'll do, but just know when it comes to the environment and trying to protect it and save it, I am very passionate about that. I am very outspoken, and I'll freaking tell you like it is. So with that being said, guys, please, I encourage you all, please keep recycling. Recycle better. Please do not throw trash in with the recycling, please. Oh my gosh. Listen, also, I'm going to challenge myself starting like this week and going forward to be more like aware and conscientious of like taking labels off and stuff, to go that extra step, rinse something out, take a cap off, take that little safety seal off, go like the extra mile for these recycling plants, so you know that you did everything you could to try to get that bottle or you know, that glass container recycled. Like you did everything in your power that you could have done to make that happen. And then also stop using plastic unnecessarily. Please be aware of like one-use plastics. Try to use biodegradable things, compostable things. I just bought these biodegradable garbage bags. So now I'm putting my recycling and my garbage in these biodegradable bags. They come in all different sizes. They're not that expensive. Find them on Amazon. That's just like another small step in like reducing plastic. So I leave you all with that encouragement. Please, please, please do good for the environment. You will thank yourself later. Your children's, however long we're here, will thank you. The wildlife will thank you. Please just keep an open mind and consider it and try to be more aware. And with that being said, guys, if you like this video, if you like what I'm talking about, please give me a thumbs up. Please, please, please. Also be sure to comment below your frustrations about recycling or any tips or tricks that you have. Maybe it's not like a reusable shopping bag, but something else that you found, a way to cut plastic out of your routine. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't already. You guys don't want to miss these videos. These are freaking awesome videos, y'all. Make sure you subscribe. And as always, popping up on your screen right now is my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, right on the screen. Please be sure to follow me to keep up with what is going on. I thank you guys so much for taking the time out to watch. Please be sure to tune back in next week for another video. Thank you guys again so much, and I'll see you next time.